Okay, so today we're going to start in a standing position, standing tall like a mountain and strong. So on your mat, bring your feet hip distance apart. They're directly under the hips and in line with your knees. Okay, so our feet, knees, hips are in line with each other. Think about our weight. We could rock backwards and forwards, side to side. Try and find a neutral position in the middle where the weight is balanced between the heels, the balls of the foot, and the outside of the front foot, like a triangle. You might have to put attention into that if that's not your normal way of standing or walking, which for most people it isn't. They either get out on the feet or in. And then just notice the pelvis. You might need to tilt it backwards and forwards a little bit. See if we can find a neutral position where our bum's not sticking out and it's not tucking in either, it's in the middle. So our pelvis is neutral. And then notice your spine all the way from the lower back going up through the neck to the head. Imagine your head's being pulled by a string up to the sky, so standing tall. And roll the shoulders back a few times, up to the ears, round and back, down the back. Roll them up, round and down the back. So our shoulders coming away from our ears. And then our arms are going to be strong, so they're down, shoulders down, and then reach the arms straight down. Our hands can be like this, fingers together, reaching down by our sides. Notice your belly, your abs. Maybe just draw them in a little bit. So we're standing really tall and strong. And we're just going to take 5 breaths in our own time, in and out in this position. If you want to, you can close your eyes. We're actually working quite a lot of the body in this still tall position. Quite like to do it if I'm, say, waiting for a train or hanging around and I think, what can I do with my body? Just focus our attention on the different areas. So we're just going to loosen our spine a little bit by twisting. I'm going to twist side to side, just gently. You don't want to be too energetic in the evening before bedtime. So you can lift your heel and turn that leg and knee to the other side, okay? Just go a bit further each time, but slowly. And breathe in one way, out the other way. In one way, out the other way. Remember to pick up that heel as you turn, and then we're going to just bring our arms up. Just breathe in and out, in and out. Make sure you're still lifting that heel, turning the foot. So we're imagining that we're like a big palm tree with our leaves blowing in the wind. So in your own time, breathing in one way and out the other. Let's go for 7 breaths in and out in your own time. Again, then we're going to bring our feet back under our hips, and we're just going to lift the heel a little bit, but we're going to keep our hips, our knees facing forwards. Just going to swing the arms. Get some energy flowing. This can go faster, so maybe you want to breathe in and then out. In, right, left, out, right, left. Let's go 5 breaths in our own time. Okay, we're going to come to the back of the mat. And we're just going to roll down, bring our head first. Our head's going towards the mat and our spine is going to slowly follow. And then when you get near the bottom, maybe your hands can reach, maybe they can't. If you crouch down, we're just going to walk out to a kneeling position, tabletop position. And we're going to do a movement called cat-cow. So we're going to continue the moving the spine, mobilizing the spine. So as we breathe in, we bring our belly button down towards the ground and our hips, tailbone up towards the sky. So breathing in, belly button goes down, hips up towards the sky, shoulders high. You can look up if it's comfortable. And so this is the cow position. If you imagine like quite an old cow that you might see in a field, sometimes you can see their shoulder blades poking out of their back, okay? Probably can't see mine, okay? So breathing in, belly button to the ground, tailbone up to the sky, shoulders up to the sky, look up if it's comfortable. Then as you breathe out, we reverse the movement. So we imagine our belly buttons being pulled gently up to the sky. Breathing out. So our pelvis tilts and our head reaches down. So the middle of our back, reaching up to the sky as much as it can. That belly button pushing up to the sky. We're just going to do it in our own slow breath. So you can do it in your own time. So as we breathe in, belly button's coming down. Tailbone, shoulders up. Look up if it's comfortable. And then as you breathe out, belly button's pulling up to the sky. Pelvis tilting under, head looking between the knees. 5 more times in your own, with your own breath. Okay. If we're going with our own breath and you finish before me, you can always do 1 or 2 more. We're going to come up to standing now. Just let me check. Okay. We're going to do a warrior pose, so this can help us build strength, confidence. So we're going to start like this on our mat, and then we're going to step the feet apart, okay, wide like this. So probably, if you're not sure how wide to go, if you put your arms up like this, your ankles should be somewhere close to underneath your wrists. Okay, so we're going to start with warrior one. We're going to take the front foot, go whichever way you want to. Front foot is going to point towards the front of the mat. So our toes pointing straight ahead, our knee is pointing straight ahead. We're going to lift the back heel, and we're going to move the foot around. Oh, there we go. So it's like 90-degree angle like that. 45-degree angle, sorry, but move it to where it's comfortable for you, so it's pointing out like that. And we're going to gently turn our hips towards the front. So if you imagine there are two lights, like headlights, coming up from your hips, we want those headlights to point forward. They probably won't be pointing exactly forwards, but over time they can get closer. You can adjust your feet if you feel like they're too close or too far apart. So we're focusing on our hips coming forward, facing forward. Yeah, and then focus the attention on the back leg. The heel is pushing down into the floor. That helps us straighten that leg from the heel all the way up to the bum. Keep focusing on the hips turning forward. And then we're going to raise our arms up, our palms facing together. If you've got shoulder issues, you don't need to do the arms. You can just do the standing posture, or you can give it a go and see how far you can take the arms up. So we're aiming to get the arms above the head like this, palms facing together. If that's too much for you, you could just have them in the air like this. Okay, so we're aiming for our arms to be in line with our ears, our shoulders back and down. Still noticing our hips, they're facing forward, our heel pushing down into the ground, our back heel. And take 5 slow breaths in and out in your own time in this position. And then bring your arms down. We're going to turn back to the front, so turn the feet so they're pointing back to the front. Hips pointing to the front, there's headlights. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So the front foot is going to point straight ahead. Our knees pointing forward, our toes pointing forward. We turn the back foot. By lifting the heel, you might need to lift the toes a little bit. So it's pointing in about 45-degree angle this way. Our front leg is straight, we're turning the hips. So those headlights facing towards the front. Roll the shoulders back and down. We're keeping the shoulders down the back. Shoulder blades down the back, raise those arms up high. Our upper body is facing towards the front, so in line with our hips as they're turning, trying to face the front and shine those headlights forward. Notice the back heel, is it pushing down so our leg is strong and making a straight line up to the bum. 5 breaths in your own time. Bring our hands down to the hips. We're going to turn back to the front, feet facing forward. I'm going to start with the same movement and just add one small change. So our foot's facing towards the front of the mat. Our back foot turns. Our hips turn towards the front. This time we're going to bend the knee. So our hips are turned towards the front, headlight shining forward. Our upper body is also facing towards the front. Focus on the back foot, is the heel pushing down so you're really strong. And straightening. Lift those kneecaps, that's going to engage the muscles and help you to have straighter, stronger legs. This time we're going to bend the knee. So that front knee, just gently bend it forwards. If you need to adjust, you can. So I feel like I need to move my back foot a little bit because we always want it to be working but comfortable. We don't want to feel any pain in yoga. We're aiming for the knee to be directly above the ankle. And we're also, as we twist our hips forward, aiming to lower our hips down to the ground so that this thigh can form a right angle. So it's going to be like that. Mine isn't an exact right angle, but that's what we're focusing on in our body, trying to lower the hips until the thigh gets as close to that right angle and lower to the ground. Let's take 3 breaths this time, in and out in your own time. Arms up to the sky. Come up. And do the other side. Foot faces forward. Back foot turns. Hips are facing the front. Shoulders back and down. Is our heel pushing down into the ground so our leg can be straight. Bend that front knee. The knee should be over the ankle. You might need to move your foot a little bit. Hips. Focusing on moving the hips, those headlights forward. See if we can drop our hips further down to the ground to get that right angle. Arms up to the sky, palms facing. 3 breaths in and out in our own time. We're going to come out, turn our feet back to the front. I feel quite warm now, don't know about you. So, we're going to continue with the warrior pose, warrior 2. So this time we do the same, we turn our foot to the front. So our toes facing forward, our knees facing forward. Imagine that knee lifting up. This time, the back foot's going to move, but instead of going to 45 degrees, it's going to go, if you need to, as if, so for me, if you're on a mat, the outer edge of your foot is in line with the mat. So imagine if this foot came backwards, it should be in line, so the heel would be touching the arch. Okay, this time we want those hip headlights to be facing this way forward. We're not going to turn. Okay, so notice our feet. Try and get a good distribution of weight in the ball of the foot to the outside edge of the foot to the heel. The toes are wiggling, they're not gripping. Well, they don't have to be wiggling, but should be able to wiggle them. They're not gripping the mat. Okay, shoulders can be backing down, and we're going to just float our arms up like this, and then bend the front knee. So the same as before, we are aiming to lower our hips so that this thigh comes down to a right angle. Okay. You can notice our belly, draw it in a little bit up here. Notice our spine, our head lifting up to the sky. Notice also our arms, our hands. You can imagine we want our spine to be in the middle above our hips. So you can imagine someone gently pulling on our front hand and gently pulling on our back hand at the same time. Help us be strong in the middle. 5 breaths in your own time. We're going to turn our head to look to the front. 5 breaths in and out. Our eyes just soft gaze towards that front hand, those fingertips. This knee might want to come in, so focus on pushing the knee back above the ankle. Straighten that front leg. Bring the foot back facing the front. We're going to go the other way. So our toes facing the front, our knee facing the front. Focus on the sensation of this thigh rolling outwards. That's going to help it stay in alignment with the knee, the foot, the ankle. The back foot needs to just be in a straight line like that, in line with the mat, so that if that foot came back to meet it, the heel of this foot would touch the ankle. If you find it hard to balance, you can move the front foot out a bit. It's going to be easier to balance. Hip headlights facing this way. We're going to raise up our arms. Bend the front knee. Imagine we're being pulled gently in both directions by those fingertips. We're going to turn our head so our gaze is looking forwards. And see if we can drop the hips down towards the ground without leaning forwards. Our spine's still tall, our head's still lifting up. 5 breaths in your own time, head gazing forwards. And then I'm going to come back up. Our feet are going to stay in the same position, pointing forwards. If you need to, you can bring your feet back together, stand up for a moment, then go back to this. We're going to do triangle pose. So our front foot's going to face forwards. See there's a pattern. Our leg is straight. Knees in line with the ankles, the toes. Lifting this kneecap up. Our back foot is going to be just like in the last pose, facing forwards. And our hips, we're aiming to have them facing this way to the front. We're going to reach our arms to the side. If the arms are too much, you can do it without the arms. So our shoulders backing down away from our ears. Our spine's tall, our head's lifting to the sky. I'm going to lean, so breathe in, lean forwards with that arm. Imagine there's a hinge here. We're going to hinge from the waist, so lean forwards with that arm. You can breathe in, and on the next out breath, you're going to twist like this. Okay, I've got a tight shoulder here, so it won't go all the way up, but what we want is our top arm, we're aiming to get it in line with this bottom arm, so that the arms are in a straight line up to the sky. If you can't get it that high like me, just go as high, close as you can. Your fingers might reach the ground, but if they're touching the ground, notice if you're kind of dropping down in the position, or if it's quite light and you need to be lifting up. Really, we're aiming for light. If they don't touch the floor, that's fine. You can just rest them on your calf, on your thigh, find the comfortable position. If you can balance okay, look up to the top hand. And our body is also twisting back, so we're in line with our leg. I'm going to put my arm down, so if it's too much to top arm, you can hold like this. You can put it on your lower back or your hip. You can still look to the sky. 3 breaths in our own time. Slowly lift up. Going to twist the foot to the front. Twist this foot facing the front. And do the triangle on the other side. So the legs are straight. Front foot pointing that way. This foot pointing in line, outside edge of the foot in line with the back of the mat. Our hips facing forward. So when we're standing and when we go into triangle, we could imagine there's a pane of glass or a sheet hanging. Let's go for a sheet, might be more comfortable. A gentle cotton sheet hanging in front of us in a straight line, and one hanging behind us in a straight line. What we're aiming is for all of our movements in our body to be able to be inside those sheets without touching them. Okay, so we lift our arms up, shoulders are down, away from our ears, our heads lifting tall. Breathe in, and on an out breath, lean forward, hinge from the hip. And then we're gonna reach down with the front hand and reach up with the back hand. Find your position, rest your hand. If you can balance, look up. Okay, this hand reaching towards the sky. Just 3 breaths in our own time. Slowly come up. We're going to walk our feet together. Okay, in a way that's comfortable for you. Going to stand like a mountain again. Take a moment, a few breaths. Feet hip distance apart, that weight evenly distributed between the heel, ball of the foot, and the front outer edge of the foot. My knees are above our ankles, so just imagine it really. It's much better to practice without a mirror and just notice how it feels in your body. For me, if I don't focus on my knees, then they're going in. But if I focus on them, I can push them out so they're closer to being above my ankles and in line with the hips. Our pelvis, do we need to tilt it in any way? Is neutral. Our belly, zip it up, just tuck it in a little bit. Gently, our shoulders go back and down. You can go a few times. Let's do a few shoulder rolls because we're working the shoulders a bit then. Shoulders back, shoulder blades down the back. Our arms strong and straight. Our fingers, hands pointing towards the ground. Our spine lifting up, our head being lifted by a string, gently, or just someone who you like, just tapping lightly to show you where you need to lift up that head. Just take 5 slow breaths in your own time if you want to. If you're comfortable to, you can close your eyes. If your eyes are open, just relax the eyelids so you've got a soft gaze. We're going to do a balance, a tree pose. If you came last week, we did it then. You might know it already. If you have a go, if you find it really hard to balance, you can put one hand on the wall or on a chair. So there are 3 different positions for our foot. So put the weight into one foot, which is going to be the standing foot, the strong leg to start with, first time round. The other leg, we can lift that knee, lift that heel, the toes stay on the ground. Turn your leg, so your knee pointing out to the side. Just like before when our knee was pointing forwards, that's what we're aiming for. We might need to focus on it when we're in the position coming back. So the position 1 is to put your heel, balance your heel against your own leg, just above the ankle. That knee is pointing out to the side. Okay, if that's a challenge for you to balance, you can stay there. Or you might want to move your foot up. So touching the calf. Okay, and if you're there, push your calf into your foot and your foot into your calf. Focus on that knee pointing out to the side. Okay, you can stay like that. And then the next position is to bring your foot, just like it's there, pushing into the calf, to bring it so it's pushing into the inner thigh. So you can also do that. Just make sure it's above the knee, so you're not pushing your foot into the knee at all. I'm going to go for this position. Okay, if you squeeze your hips, it makes it easier to balance. So we want our hip headlights facing forward, and we're focusing on this knee coming back and out to the side. What can help you balance is if you find a point in the distance and you just gaze gently at that one point. Okay, our belly is zipped up, tucked in a little bit. Going to help us stand tall. Our spine is tall, shoulders back and down. If you can balance, you can move your hands to prayer position. Let's see, there we go. You can move them above your head. You can move them out like this. And if you want to, if you can balance easily like that, if you want to, you can close your eyes. It makes it more difficult. So choose your position. If you want, you can take a little break and come back into the tree position you've chosen. And we're going to take up to 10 breaths, okay? So if after a few breaths you lose balance, just come back into the pose. We'll be here for around 10 breaths, in and out. We're going to do the other side. I'm going to shake that leg. My legs feel different now to standing on just one leg. See how yours feel. We're going to do the other side. Maybe on the other side, you might need to put your leg in a different position, or it might be able to go up to the thigh when last time on the other side it was on the calf. Just have a go and see. Choose your position, so the standing leg strong, weight going down into the ground, standing tall. Put your foot, turn out to the side, knee facing the front, pointing towards the front. Choose your position. Grip those hips tightly, it's going to help you balance. Think of that standing foot. Choose your hand position. And while you're here for 10 breaths, keep focusing on that knee. It's going to keep wanting to come forwards. Keep focusing on it, pushing it back, and on those hips, pushing, facing forward. The other thing that can happen is this hip, it's always going to poke out a little bit, but it wants to sometimes lean out more. So if yours is leaning out a lot, see if you can pull it in a little bit, so your body's in a straight line as possible. Okay, 10 breaths in your own time. So in the standing leg, just focus on the kneecap pulling up. That's going to help us have a strong leg. Okay, so just going to come down to sitting. So just come down to the mat in a way that's comfortable for you. I think, let me see. Face this way so you can see me. Okay, yeah. We're going to do some forward bend, seated forward bend. Just see how close that table is. Okay, so as we breathe in, raise our arms to the sky. Spine up tall. Breathe out, lean forward. As far as your hands will go, maybe they'll go to your toes, maybe they won't. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, up tall to the sky. Breathe out. Rest your hands, drive them back. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm going to lean forward. I'm just going to say, if you've got a fleshy bum, you can pull it out a bit so that your sit bones are on the floor. And we're going to lean forward, see if we can touch our toes. So breathe in, breathe out. And if you can't touch the toes, bend the knees and just rest your hands there. If you can touch the toes, you can bring your wrist, if it will go over the toes, touch it underneath of the foot, but you're aiming to keep your feet, knees and hips, knees, ankles in line, whether your feet are flat, knees are flat or raised. Five breaths. You might find the more you breathe into it, the further you can go. We're going to just do a happy baby, which you might know. So lie on your back. I'm just looking there to see what you can see on your screen. Lie on our back. Okay, our back's comfortable. Bring your knees into your chest. Feet up to the sky. And then we're going to bring the knees back. We're aiming for them to come down here on the outside of our body, kind of outside our armpit. Okay. Grab your leg wherever you can. Yeah, if it's here, that's fine. If it's here, that's fine, wherever is good for you. If you can reach the ankles, you can roll a bit, and then we're going to move the hands, if they'll reach, onto the feet. You can stay here, or you can reach the foot, hands on the outside of the foot, on the inside, whichever's most comfortable. For me, outside is more comfortable. Okay. So we're holding our feet or our ankles, our legs, our feet are facing up to the sky as if we could walk on the ceiling. They're flat as if they would walk on the ceiling. Pulling our feet or our legs down, see if our knees will come down further. And then we're just going to roll around however you feel. Give yourself a little back massage from rolling on the floor. It's called Happy Baby, so just rolling however you feel you need to. And release. Just bring your knees into your body. Roll around. If you want to, you might feel like being still. That's fine. And then we're going to bring our feet down flat on the ground. Oh, my hair's come up. So, bring your feet wide. So, it could be as wide as the mat. Mine's better when it's wider than the mat because I'm quite tall. We want the feet to be wide so that the knees drop in together. They might touch or they might not. Mine don't touch there, but it still feels comfortable to lay like this. It's not any effort for me to have the knees in that position. If you're feeling it's effort, if your knees want to go out, you probably need to take your feet a bit wider. Okay, and then we're just gonna drop the legs and wonder if we've got enough space there. So hands out to the side, palms facing the sky. Bring our feet together. We're gonna let our knees drop to one side. The shoulders stay on the ground. So if the shoulder, one of them starts lifting up, then just stop the knees there. But if the shoulders will stay on the ground, drop the knees. Face the other way. Back to the other side. Keep the feet together, the knees touching. Drop the knees, the shoulders stay on the floor. Might need to wriggle a bit. Head looking the opposite way to the knees. One more time each side. Knees back up to the sky. We're going to stretch the legs out. If that's not comfortable for you or you feel any lower back twinges, you can come back to this position with the wide feet, knees dropping towards each other so you can relax. Okay. Knees pointing to the sky, feet on the ground. We're just going to push our heels out and then relax the feet, let the legs and feet roll out. Our arms, you can keep the arms up high like that, or you can roll the shoulders down the back a little bit. Bring the arms, I suppose it's about 45 angles out to the side, wherever's comfortable for you. Hands face, palms facing up. We're just relaxing now in this pose, Shavasana, to absorb what's happened, what we've been through, let our body get the benefits of this yoga practice for a few minutes. So close your eyes if you're comfortable and just breathe normally. And if any thoughts come, if you get distracted by thinking, then just try and let it go and notice your breath, the sensations in your body, parts of your body that are touching the ground. Notice how it feels. And breathe in your normal way. And when you're ready, just start wriggle your fingers, your toes a little bit. Just start to come around. Roll so you can put your feet on the mat, or your knees, your body to one side. Just rest there for a moment. Come up to sitting when you're ready. Thank you for coming. I'll just stop the recording.